we are as big of fans as our audience is. You know, we grew up on the original show. When we heard that they were doing this reboot, this reimagining, we were just as excited as everyone. It was either going to be a hit or it was going to be a miss. It could have gone left very easily. So we knew the importance of doing this right. So we didn't come at this half-heartedly. We were all in, like wholeheartedly. Every molecule, every gene was like on board and ready to kick ass. So it's nice when we're all in alignment. The whole cast, everyone, we had the same vision. We're like, yep, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's make sure that when we watch this, we are proud and that we are telling positive Black stories.
Filmmaker Magazine presents Back to One with Peter Rinaldi.
Adrian Holmes is an actor. He plays Uncle Phil on the new series Bel-Air. He sat down with me in cyberspace to talk about the work. When you first land the role and you get the script, is there a typical first step that you take to kind of wrap your arms around the new character?
Well, for me, the very first thing I do when I get a role is read the script at least twice to, sometimes 3 times, it depends. And I read it, and then I will start to just break it down and figure out what role my character plays in the story, and how I can be of service, what tools I have in my toolbox that I can use or that I don't need, what can be added or what can be, taken away and stripped away. So then I just get to work in that way and just start to visualize the world and see it in my head and kind of just, get the lines down. I have an app that I use to learn my lines, and I just record it in there and I'll just play it in my ear, in my headphones, so that I'm constantly hearing the dialogue, in my head. And what works for me too is like on the treadmill, just going to the gym and walking on the treadmill and with the dialogue or reading the script. And because when I'm doing things, when you're busy doing things, I find when you're tactile with things, it kind of helps it to kind of get into your subconscious more and kind of sink in. And then you're not, really searching for it as much. It just kind of finds a home in your subconscious. So yeah, that's kind of where I start.
When you mention tools, like where did you pick up these tools that you're able to grab if you need them, or like you said, discard some? Was this school? Was this instincts? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I just go to Home Depot and just
that's the place for
get
tools.
all my tools from the Home Depot. No, it's just, over the years of acting class and just being a working actor, you just pick up things and just life experiences too. Just living and having a lot of experiences, you start to figure out things about yourself. You build layers, you build muscles, you grow. There's, strengths that you didn't think you had that you have, and weaknesses that you didn't think you have that you have. And, you just figure out your strengths and your weaknesses, where you're, where you are more in alignment than others in other areas. So I just, when I say tools, it's just, who are you as a person? Are you a very confident person? Are you outgoing? Are you shy? Are you passive? Are you timid? Are you, introverted, extroverted? Whatever it is that makes you your authentic self. Sometimes some of those qualities will work for your character, but if you're an introvert, if you're shy, quiet, docile type character, but you're playing a superhero. You're playing someone that's bigger or larger than life. Then you're going to have to find a way to put that in the basement and, you know, adapt a quality that's going to serve that role. You know, it's not easy to do, but, you know, as an actor, that's what we do. We're shapeshifters. You know, you got to be able to come and go and change directions whenever you need to. And that's why I love this business. I love this art form, because we get paid to play. We get paid to play characters and do things that we never ever normally get to do in our everyday life, right? And again, it really helps you to discover yourself. You know, it's almost like therapy. Here it is. You know, it's very therapeutic, because you can really look in. It forces you to look in and understand, you know, just really who you are and what your strengths are and your weaknesses are, and what you like and what you don't like, and, you know, and just what you connect with, you know, and what you don't connect with. So it's very therapeutic.
Have you had a game plan with auditions, and has that changed over these years about this?
In order to get the job, you have to audition until or unless you're a big name and they start offering you roles. But, you know, every actor starts off, you have to audition. And if you don't have a good relationship with auditioning, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You have to enjoy the audition process. I know a lot of people that don't like auditioning, but what I do is I look at it as an opportunity to just play and have fun. I love what I do, and I started out in the theater. And so what I did is I would play a little game. When I go into the audition room, I would treat it like it was a mini stage, like mini theater. You know, the producer, the director, the casting director, they're behind the table. It's a very small venue. It's a very small seated theater, you know, and they call you in to do the scene or two or three. So I would treat it like I was going in to perform this scene that these people have paid money to come and sit and watch. Yeah. And then it would keep me in the moment, and it would keep me like, just, it would allow me to stay dropped in, and the overwhelm and the anxiety and all that pressure would kind of fall off, because that's what has to happen when you step on stage. When the curtains open and you step out on stage in front of an audience, it's sink or swim. You know, there's no stop. Okay, can I do that again? Like on film, we get an opportunity to do take after take after take. With stage, with the theater, that's it, man. Once the curtains open, the director's job is done. Yeah. So it's just you and the audience. And so I would just treat my auditions like mini theater, and I go out there and I just have fun. And that's another key thing, is to enjoy the process and have fun, because I'm either going to get the part or I'm not going to get the part. If I don't get the part, I can at least say I had fun and I enjoyed that time, that 5-10 minutes or whatever it was. I get the part and I had fun, icing on the cake, you know. Right. But so yeah, that's what I would say, is just go in there, have fun, know the work, trust yourself. You're the artist. They don't even know what they want most of the time, because they're still trying to put these pieces of the puzzle together. Mm-hmm. And you are coming in and you have your interpretation, and everybody's interpretation is different. So you need to know that nobody can do you better than you. You have been called in to audition because they want to see what you can do. So if you show up and they're looking for you, then you're going to get the part. But if you don't show up because you've sabotaged the process because of, oh my God, I'm nervous, or the overwhelm. Oh, that was so-and-so from that show sitting next, just in the waiting room. I just saw, oh my God, he's definitely going to get the job because he works on everything, or she works on everything. But if you just go in the room knowing that no one can do you better than you, and if they're looking for you, then you're in, you got it. Yes. But so that's what I would tell myself. And if I show up and I don't get the part, I can sleep at night because I knew that I did my best and I laid it all on the table. I put it all on the floor. But if I go in there and I sabotage myself and I don't show up and I don't get the job, then I'm always going to have that, oh man, what if I, what if I did that? Or what if I did this? Or, oh man, you do your best audition in your living room or in the rearview mirror of your car driving home, right? And a lot of people, we've all had that experience. I mean, I have, but then I was like, that's not fun. Let me just do my thing, lay it all on the table, on the floor, and then I can go home. And if I don't get it, I know that there was nothing else that I could have done. Yes. There was absolutely nothing else that I could have done to have changed or persuaded them into casting me. And just enjoy, have fun. That's the main thing.
It's almost like a first date. Like when you're on your way home after a first date and you're beating yourself up, it's usually because you weren't yourself, and then you don't know if like that went wrong because I was trying to be Mr. Cool.
Right.
It's
like your representative was showing up. It wasn't you. It was, yeah.
And why would she like that or he like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
They wanted you. And I know that this is a weird analogy because you're playing a role, but what you have to offer is what you're talking about. And that is unique to you.
Bro, we're all like fingerprints, man. We're all unique. We're all different. And if I'm going to look at somebody else that has a resume, 10 times longer than mine and start psyching myself out, comparing myself, then you're doing yourself a disservice. I just look when I'm in the room with actors that I admire, that fuels me. That actually gives me more confidence because I'm like, I'm in the presence of greatness. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I've been invited to the party. I've been given a seat at the table. So if I'm here, if I've been asked to join this group of people that I admire and I respect, then I must have something. There must be something that is in me that is, worthy of being here. So I'm going to just, figure out what that is or just do what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Because that's what got me here.
Yes.
It's what you've been doing all this time that got you here. It's not like you paid somebody, or, did anything on the side special to get that. You just did the work, and hard work works. So if you keep doing the work, it's going to pay off. It's not a matter of if, it's just when.
Yes.
And that's how I've always lived my life, is just when, and having patience. A lot of people don't have patience. They're like, oh, I need it yesterday. I need to make it big now. I mean, It's like, I get it. We want to make it. We want to have that opportunity to, live, have a career that, you're financially independent and you're successful and you're working all the time, and you will just keep doing the work and treat every job like your first and your last. That's what an actor told me years ago on one of my first jobs, Winston Record on Neon Rider. He said, if you treat every job like your first and your last, you'll never stop working. And it's just having respect for every job you get and really never getting tired or taking it for granted. Always remember that fire that you had for the job when you first started, that excitement, that, oh my God, never lose that. Yes. You know what I mean? Every time you show up on set, always have that, just always have the get the tingles, every time. And if you keep that and you'll always be pushing forward, you'll always be grateful, humble, and that's just a good energy, and people want to be around that.
Yes.
And they'll want to hire you because not only you're talented, but you got the right attitude and you're good people to be around for 13, 14 hours a day.
That's really, really important part of this that we kind of overlook. And it sounds like you didn't let the idea of what was in your mind about Uncle Phil interfere with what you were giving. Once you got the role, like how much were they involved with your characterization of this character?
Well, Morgan Cooper, the creator and director, he gave us all playlists, music to listen to just kind of help, guide us a little bit, and that really helped to just listen to these playlists. And for me, it was music that I listened to, music from, the 70s, the 80s, R&B, hip hop, soul, jazz, Miles Davis, Otis Redding, Tribe Called Quest, Nas, Stevie Wonder. I mean, the list goes on. It was just a really, really helpful tool to have. And so listening to that and then just understanding that we are taking these iconic nostalgic characters from the 90s and it's a reimagining version of the story for present day through a 2022 lens, contemporary modern drama. So they're going to be more grounded. The stakes are much higher. Yeah. This is just they're going to have. We're going to be addressing issues and subject matter that relate to the here and now. In this time, and so for me, it was just to be authentic, as I've said before, and that's exactly what the original cast did. Will was being Will, right. And that's what, Quincy Jones and Benny Medina and them said to him, like, yo, you are incredible. We cast you because of who you are. So don't feel you got to now come in and play a version of yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't play Will. You are Will. So just be Will. James Avery, Janet Hubert, Alfonso Ribeiro, the rest, they came in and they played the character true to themselves and, brought to the table what they felt was of service to this assignment. And that's exactly what they passed on to us. That's what Will and Quincy and all of them, Morgan, all the showrunners, everyone, they said, listen, you guys are doing what they did, but for this generation. So we need you to just tap in to what feels right for you. You're not, trying to recreate what they did, because that's not the assignment. The assignment is for you to create your own shoes. You're not filling their shoes. They left us a blueprint of what what they did. And for me, James Avery left an incredible blueprint. His performance was just fantastic, just so powerful, and he had such a presence. And he balanced the humor with just that authoritative father figure, that anchor, that patriarch that we all know and love, and we just would love to have in our lives. Like, a lot of us look at him as like, oh, he was the uncle or the father that I wish I had. He just had such a great balance of authority, but of humor and laughter and levity as well. So I just think that if I can have a fraction of that, if I could just bring a piece of that into this, then I've done my job. So, and the beautiful thing about this show is being a 1 hour drama, we have a longer runway. So we get to really peel back the layers and really get to see what makes these characters tick, their origin stories, and I think the fans, they're just going to love that.
Yes. I don't know if you think about this. Tell me if you do. Like, you really nailed it, but I want to know if this was actually a conscious thing that you think about. Like, there's a whole, like, rich guy kind of essence that I kind of only know is not there when it's not there in a show. Like particularly when there's like extras in a scene and it's supposed to be these really rich people. And I'm like, wow, you can really tell. I don't know what that is. you can tell that they're not rich people. And it's not just about looks. I'm sure they spent all day in the chair and they got the proper clothes. It's something it's something about it. I don't know what it is, but this matters. Like maybe it's a way that you move or anything, but whatever it is, you hit it with this guy. Is that something you took into account?
Yeah, well, I think, I wanted him to have a lot of integrity and to be very respectful. See, he respects himself. And so if you respect yourself, people will respect you. People treat you how you treat yourself, right? So he walks and he carries himself with a lot of dignity and class. And, so that is a quality that is then reflected upon him. So I guess when you have that stillness in you, he's really listening. He's very calculative. He's running for DA, so he's in politics. So he's got to be very, very calculative in his decision making and in his moves. It's like chess, and so with that, I guess kind of brings a bit of a regality and a, kind of energy. And yeah, not to mention the suits he wears. He wears some he's pretty clean. He's suited and booted, and that doesn't hurt. When you're wearing those suits, it just changes the way you feel. It changes the way you walk. The way it really adds to the character, and to how I feel in the role. So. But yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, you watch certain shows and just like, I don't really believe it. But I think that everyone's really just, everyone has a lot of integrity, and everyone's just really, really, really passionate. And as Morgan said, we know our assignment, and we're fans. We are as big of fans as our audience is. We grew up on the original show. When we heard that they were doing this reboot, this reimagining, we were just as excited as everyone. It was either going to be a hit or it was going to be a miss. It could have gone left very easily.
Yes.
Right. So we knew the importance of doing this right.
Yes.
How important it was to make sure that we crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's and made sure that we were all, we all were, of service. So we didn't come at this, half-heartedly. We were all in, like wholeheartedly. Every molecule, every gene was like on board and ready to kick ass. So it's nice when we're all in alignment. The whole cast, everyone, we had the same vision. We're like, yep, let's do this. Let's make sure that when we watch this, we are proud and that we are telling positive Black stories, because unfortunately there's not a lot of narratives that are showing us in a positive, thriving, successful light. They show the one side of the coin, and that side of the coin applies to everybody though. That's the thing. There's poverty and there's violence and there's drugs in every culture, white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, you name it, it's in there. But unfortunately, that's the narrative that they force down our throats, and we need to now flip the coin and show the other side of it, because that's also our truth. That's our reality as well.
Yes.
We are affluent, inspiring, thriving, successful, positive, high vibrational people and culture, and so our show does such a great job of showing that balance between West Philly and, the gates of Bel-Air, and how Will has to, balance or navigate his way, between the two. He's a fish out of water, and he's trying to figure out, okay, well, I love Philly. I love my mom and my friends, and, playing ball and everything's, that's my home. But then he's over in Bel-Air, and it's like, oh my gosh, like this is, we ain't in Kansas anymore. It's like the Wizard of Oz for him, and it's like, wow, so much opportunity. He's like, I have opportunities here. This is a seize the moment situation where it's like, okay, I can do so much, but I still love Philly and I want to be in Philly. But if I'm in Philly, I wouldn't be able to, let's see, this the thing is in life, we have to go to where we're called. Life is about being on a journey, and you have to pay attention to where you're called to be. And even though your moms and your friends and people love you back home and they don't want you to leave, well, you know what? At the end of the day, it's your life, and you have to do what's best for you. So you go, people go away to college all the time. They go away to university, right? You go away to get, opportunity. And then if you want, you come back home with that extra tool in your pocket, in your toolbox. So in our show, it's about, for me, I'm like that moral compass. I'm like the voice of reason for Will, to help him, find his way, find his footing in this new reality. And he's also like a mirror to Phil.
Yes.
Because Phil grew up, he's a self-made man. He comes from humble beginnings. He worked his ass off to get to where he is, and he knows his motto is, hard work works. And that's my motto. That's something that we have in common, Phil and Adrian. I love when I achieve success based on my hard work, that I did it with my own hands. It wasn't handed to me. And that is what Phil did. But the thing about Phil is he's so career driven. He's in the whole corporate world that he's kind of forgotten a little bit of who he is deep down, like, coming from, he was a fraternity, remember the Alpha Phi Alpha, so I don't know if you've seen, but in episode 3, when he goes back to try to get the black vote, he goes back to, his fraternity brothers, but they all see him as a sellout. They think, oh, you Mr. Bel-Air now. You're not Yamacraw no more, That's where he's from, Yamacraw, North Carolina. So that really hits him. That really hits home for him. And he's like, oh man, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I'm Bel-Air. You don't see me as Philip Banks from Yamacraw, North Carolina anymore. You see me as Philip Banks from Bel-Air. So what Will does is he sees that he needs to really connect with them. He sees that I need them to see the Yamacraw in me, and that it's still alive and it's still kicking. So he gets on stage and he does his thing that he does so beautifully, right? Just to get me going. And it works. I do my step, I do my routine, I connect, and it's liberating and it's cathartic. And I'm like, and they're like, yo, there he is. There's Yamacraw. So Will has been a big help. He's been such a positive influence to us in Bel-Air, not just myself, but with Carlton, he's been helping Carlton go through a lot of his issues. And
yeah, I mean, I love the way the writers take all of this and they're addressing issues that are really important, but always through the characters. That's the rare thing about this show, I think, when it's coming through you guys, it all works.
Yeah. It's nice when you're part of something with a group of actors that are as talented as they are. I mean, oh my gosh. And Jabari, it blows my mind that this is his first job. Insane. Which is really, really incredible. He's fearless. He's just unpredictable, and he's just such a sweet soul. He's got such a great energy, and he comes to work, even though he's got, so much on his shoulders. He's always happy and smiling and full of life. And he's like, yo, let's do this. And, it starts at the top and it trickles down. Yes. Right. So everybody is just feeding off of that. Yes. And by God's grace, it stays that way for many, many seasons, but I'm definitely going to, do my part to make sure that remains, because, it's, again, I never take anything for granted. And, as as quick as you make it is as quick as, you know, you can lose it. You know, it can go away as fast as it comes to you. So never forget that. And, you know, you got to just cherish and be humble and grateful and just realize your blessings. This is a blessing.
Adrian Holmes, thank you so much. Please come back on this show again.
Oh man, anytime, Peter. Honestly, this was beautiful. You actually you helped me today, man. You know, yeah, I really enjoyed you were therapeutic for me. Yeah.
Back to One is a production of Filmmaker Magazine, which is a publication of The Gotham, formerly IFP. Listen to back episodes of this podcast at filmmakermagazine.com or wherever you get your podcasts.